Welcome to the stories on Echoes of Revenge. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The email from Prestige Coastal Realty arrived at 11:23 a.m. on a Wednesday. Dear Ms. Vaughn, we're pleased to inform you that your family's estate properties have received a cash offer of $4.1 million. Your brother Michael has been exceptional to work with. Please contact our office to coordinate the closing timeline. I read it 3 times in my office at the Children's Hospital where I worked as a pediatric surgeon. My family's estate properties. Cash offer. Michael has been exceptional. The 3 properties they referenced were mine. Not estate properties. Not inherited. My Sanibel Island cottage. Purchased 2015 for $890,000 with my signing bonus. Asheville Mountain cabin. Purchased 2017 for $625,000 with saved income. Santa Fe adobe. Purchased 2019 for $780,000 after a particularly brutal year in pediatric oncology when I needed beauty to balance the loss. I'd bought them over 4 years with money I'd earned cutting into children's bodies to save their lives. 80-hour weeks. Midnight surgeries. Telling parents their child had a chance or didn't. Michael knew this. He'd called them your little vacation properties with dismissive air quotes. He was a corporate attorney making $340,000 annually. I made $580,000 but worked twice his hours in an ICU that smelled like antiseptic and fear. Our grandmother Rose had died in 2003 when I was in medical school and Michael was in law school. She'd left us each $50,000 for education. I'd used mine for tuition. Michael had used his for a down payment on his first condo, then sold it at a profit. He'd never mentioned our grandmother in connection with my properties. Until apparently now when he'd invented an entire inheritance to sell them. I called the realtor. This is Dr. Sarah Vaughn. I received your email about the property sale. Oh, wonderful. Her voice was professionally enthusiastic. Your brother mentioned you might be traveling. We have a cash buyer ready to close in 30 days. The combined offer is slightly below asking but in this market. What exactly did my brother tell you about these properties? Pause. That they were estate properties from your late grandmother. That the family was finally ready to liquidate the estate after years of shared use. Our grandmother died in 2003. I purchased these properties individually between 2015 and 2019. I have the deeds, mortgages, and closing documents. Longer pause. I need to place you on hold. He came back 3 minutes later, voice different. Careful. Dr. Vaughn, I'm going to need to halt this transaction immediately. I'm transferring you to our legal department. Their attorney James Wong came on the line. Dr. Vaughn, can you provide documentation of your ownership? All 3 properties are in my name only. Individual purchases, separate transactions, my money. Your brother provided us with what appeared to be estate documents. He represented himself as co-executor handling the property distribution. My hands went cold. He's an attorney. He fabricated estate documents. We'll need to investigate. I'm terminating the listing immediately and notifying the buyer. This is extremely serious. I called my attorney Patricia Moss, who'd handled all 3 property purchases. Michael is trying to sell my vacation homes using fake estate documents. He's a member of the bar? Her voice sharpened. Corporate attorney, 15 years. Sarah, this isn't just real estate fraud. If he created false legal documents and represented himself as an executor of a non-existent estate, he's committed multiple felonies and ethics violations. His law license is at stake. She paused. I'm calling the state bar right now. And we need the probate court to verify your grandmother's estate was settled in 2003. The investigation moved with terrifying speed. Patricia requested grandmother's probate records from Fulton County. Estate of Rose Margaret Vaughn, deceased October 2003, settled January 2004. Assets distributed, $50,000 to each grandchild for education. Estate closed. No real property involved. Grandmother had rented her entire life. Meanwhile, Prestige Coastal's legal team examined the documents Michael had provided. Estate inventory, listing 3 properties with values from 2003, completely fabricated since I hadn't even bought them yet. Executor authorization with forged signatures from a probate judge. Distribution agreement showing the properties should be sold and proceeds split between siblings. James Wong's report was devastating. These documents were created using legal templates and notary stamps. Your brother would have had access to both through his law practice. The notarizations are fake. We verified with the notaries whose stamps were used. They never notarized anything for Michael Vaughn or your grandmother's estate. The state bar opened an investigation within 48 hours. I sat in my house that evening and thought about the ghost ledger. Years of Michael's comments. Nice that you can afford vacations on your surgeon's salary. Cost. Never mentioning I'd earned every dollar. Every family gathering where he'd discuss his estate planning expertise, while I stayed silent about my actual estate. Cost. Believing my success needed to hide. The Christmas he'd loudly announced he was finally building real wealth, while I'd just closed on the Santa Fe property. Cost. My pride in my own strategic investments. Our parents praising his financial maturity, while calling my properties indulgent and excessive for a single woman. Cost. Joy in spaces I'd created for healing. Now he tried to steal $4.2 million from me using fake legal documents and our dead grandmother's name. The math was sociopathic. He'd accepted $4.1 million for 3 properties worth $4.2 million. Planned to take half, $2.05 million, and probably argue I should be grateful for my share of our inheritance. The buyer had been ready to wire funds. Michael had set up a closing date. He'd have walked away with over $2 million from properties he'd never owned, using an estate that didn't exist, betraying a grandmother who'd been dead 21 years. I thought about professional ethics. First, do no harm. I'd spent 15 years following that principle. Michael had spent 15 years learning how to manipulate legal systems for profit. The state bar moved to formal charges within 2 weeks. Fabricating legal documents, fraudulent representation, misuse of notary credentials, attempted theft through legal fraud, and violating attorney-client trust principles. The local district attorney added criminal charges: theft by deception, forgery, fraud, and identity theft for using grandmother's name without authorization. Prestige Coastal Realty sued him for fraud and reputational damage. They'd nearly closed a $4 million plus fraudulent sale. Michael called me once. I let it go to voicemail. "Sarah, this is insane. We can work this out. I was trying to help liquidate properties you barely use. You're overreacting. Call off your attorney. We're family." I saved the voicemail and sent it to Patricia and the bar investigator. His defense crumbled during depositions. The document metadata showed they were created in March 2024, 21 years after grandmother's death. The notary stamps were photographed copies from his firm's supply, used without authorization. The probate court had no record of any estate reopening or property distribution. His law firm put him on immediate suspension. 17 of his clients requested different counsel. His malpractice insurance company launched its own inquiry. The bar hearing was 6 months later. I attended via video link from the hospital. I'd had a 6-hour surgery that morning on a 12-year-old with a spinal tumor. Michael's attorney argued for leniency, misunderstanding between siblings about shared family assets. No actual financial harm occurred since the sale didn't complete. Mr. Vaughn has an otherwise spotless record. Patricia destroyed that argument methodically. Dr. Vaughn purchased 3 properties over 4 years using approximately $2.3 million of her earned income from pediatric surgery. She has closing documents, mortgage records, tax payments, and insurance policies, all in her name alone. Mr. Vaughn fabricated an entire estate, forged multiple legal documents, and attempted to steal $2 million plus from his sister while using their deceased grandmother's identity. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was calculated legal fraud by an attorney who knew exactly what he was doing. She displayed the timeline. March 2024. Michael creates false estate documents. April 2024. Lists properties without authorization. May 2024. Accepts $4.1 million cash offer. May 2024. Plans closing for June, expecting $2 million plus payout. He didn't make an error. He executed a sophisticated fraud scheme using his legal expertise as a weapon against his own family. The bar panel deliberated 47 minutes. License suspended immediately. Permanent disbarment recommended pending appeals. Public censure. $50,000 fine. Requirement to notify all past clients of the fraud finding. The criminal case took longer. Michael's attorney negotiated. Guilty plea to felony fraud, 3 years probation, 500 hours community service, full restitution of all legal costs I'd incurred, and permanent prohibition from any real estate transactions without court oversight. My parents called once. Dad's voice was carefully neutral. Sarah, your brother made a mistake. This punishment seems excessive. He's lost his career. He tried to steal $4 million from me using fake legal documents. But nothing actually happened. The sale didn't go through. I thought about the night I'd bought the Sanibel cottage. I'd just lost a 7-year-old patient to leukemia despite 18 months of treatment. I'd sat in my car in the hospital parking lot and cried until I couldn't breathe. The cottage listing appeared on my phone, Gulf Front Healing Space. I'd called the realtor from that parking lot. Made an offer that night. Closed 30 days later. That property represented survival. The mountain cabin represented finding peace after watching children die. The Santa Fe adobe represented choosing beauty over despair. Michael had tried to steal my survival mechanisms and call it liquidating underused assets. Nothing happened, I said slowly, because the real estate company had ethics. Because the probate court had records. Because legal systems worked. Not because Michael showed restraint or conscience. He's your brother. He's a stranger who tried to steal my life's work. I hung up. The disbarment became final 8 months later. Michael's appeal was denied. His law license, gone permanently. I heard through family gossip he was working in corporate compliance at reduced salary, job prospects limited by the felony conviction. My parents quietly stopped mentioning him. My sister sent me a tentative text. I didn't know what he was doing. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. I was done explaining why attempted theft wasn't a misunderstanding. 2 years after the fraud, I took a sabbatical. 6 months off from surgery to write medical research and actually use my properties. 2 months in Sanibel. 6 weeks in Asheville. 8 weeks in Santa Fe. I filled them with silence, sunrises, and slow healing from years of pediatric trauma. Michael had tried to sell my healing for his profit. Instead, his fraud became evidence that some things can't be stolen, only earned. The properties were still mine. Still empty when I worked. Still waiting when I needed them. Grandmother Rose never owned property. But she'd given me education money that started everything. Michael tried to use her name to steal. I used her gift to build. The properties stand. The career continues. The healing spaces wait. And my brother's law license is gone forever. Suspended by the same legal system he'd tried to manipulate.